Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting, innovating, and amazing Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane, the one, the only Master Propaganda here of Psych Defender over the Fatherland. Off here to a 1v1 on Mill Road. In the north, it is Caesar, fighting for the British Army in the Commonwealth. Taking on the role here of the 7th Armoured Division of the Desert Rats here with tactical support with raid sections, designate command vehicles, air resupply operations, forward observation posts, the Crocodile vessel south, it is Finndeed, fighting for the Oberkommandist Germany, Deutschland. Here with the 21st Panther Division with Luftwaffe Ground Forces, featuring heavy fortifications, smoke bombs, Fallschirmjägers, Valiant Assault, and Airborne Assault. So a full-screen Kuban start versus raid section start. And as always, a big hearty thanks to my Patreon supporters. Without them and their valuable support, the Propagandacast would not be able to keep doing what it does. So big thanks to all those. Other people can join thanks for Patreon, or they can donate via PayPal. Links are in the video description. And if you feel like promoting comments free, you can do so by the link in the comments. Use the code STUK3G, like it's written there, and I get a 15% cut of the sale. I'll just comment, like, share, subscribe, talk about the video. So, Samex East here, as Season said, we got more raid sections on the way there. The tactical support raid section build is becoming a steadily more popular Brit choice here in the 1v1 metagame. North side, we got the Sturmpion wing forwards, Kuban rushing ahead as well for Finndeed, and we got Volksgrenadiers basically in the centre. East side, their section got the fuel point secured for the Commonwealth. Spot wire here. Note the positioning here from Finndeed. It is to deny the opponent the ability to easily down sandbags here without then having to wire it off. Grab northern point of the raid section. So far, though, no real clashes and no engagements between Finndeed and Caesar. Third raid section out here, which is typically how most Brit players go for it. If they go for tactical support, they'll go for like 3 raid sections, then tech up fairly aggressively, and typically try and rush out a center in a lot of cases. But we'll have to see if Caesar does that. Finding around the core point between Finndeed and Caesar. Raid section pushes off the Volksgrenadiers up north, Sturmpion advancing. Kuban roaming around here for Finndeed and Deutschland. A raid section holding up there in the south, section digging in with sandbags, Volksgren further southwards. Truck on the way there for Finndeed. Fairly light tier 1, which, considering he's also going for Luftwaffe Ground Forces, could be an indicator Finndeed might be planning a Fallschirmjäger heavy strategy, which is a bit rare, and honestly most common I think seen in 2v2s, where like you have one player then sort of doing some of the more heavy lifting until they then start like turning the game around heavily with Fallschirmjägers. So bold strategy here for 1v1 here. If it fails, obviously Finndeed's going to be in a really, really bad place, but of course if it works, it can really hit back hard here, as a lot of Fallschirmjägers can deploy a lot of firepower. Kuban will took off the raid section here, south of the center victory point. Meanwhile, Caesar's just picking up speed here. Pace versus Finndeed, of course, probably not aware that Finndeed won't be pushing him too hard due to the whole, lightly stalling for Fallschirmjägers. That could be wrong. Battle headquarters out there for Finndeed. Kuban being attacked by the raid section here from 2 angles. Kuban definitely not made to survive that. Battle headquarters 2/3 of the way done here. Might see some empty fed force if Finndeed helps stall out. In which case, this could in some ways be described to be similar to a Panther Grenadier stall with the Wehrmacht, except of course you can't get at machine guns easily and you can't even get the Panther Grenadiers out fast, so it's definitely a significantly more risky strategy. Caesar bring in a Vickers machine gun there up north, raid section back get flanked with the Sturmpionier. Note the path here taken by Finndeed, minimizing incoming fire on the Sturmpions close in effective range and do as much damage while taking as little as damage before they get up close. Still, raid section does grab the point here, but does force them back, so that kind of works out there for Finndeed. Maschinengewehr there for Deutschland. Grabbing the cut-off point back there for the Reich. Raid sections quickly falling around the center here, and Vickers out, tech up there for Caesar. The Vickers machine gun was a further development of the Maxim machine gun, and was actually used in World War I. Fun fact. Very efficient and effective machine, but obviously a bit on the heavier side. Kuban there being repaired up with the Sturmpionier, very good. But you can see there, Caesar's lining up for an attack here on the northern fuel point here. 2 raid sections being lined up. Can Finndeed bring up support weapons here to defend the point before Caesar's assault falls? Sturmpionier getting sniped at. Same time we got the full support here with the Vickers machine gun, quickly suppressed. Further south here, full digging in with some sandbags there. They're being slowly mauled out. They got medics on the way for Caesar. Raid section here, flank up behind the Sturmpionier. Nice flank here by Caesar. There you go, machine gun setting up here for Finndeed. That's going to put a halt to that. Nothing further at the Belgian headquarters yet. Might be planning a flak half-track here. Medic's almost done for Caesar. Might he go for an armoured car? We'll have to see. He may also just go for a bunch of anti-tank guns and try and push for the centre faster, which is very likely he's going to do that, since again, these kind of strategies are very, focused on getting out the centre as fast as possible and using it as a very potent shock weapon. Since with a centre rush, you can basically get that out faster than, say, a Wehrmacht player goes for an Austrian rush. So, briefly considered some sappers there, but decided against it. Indeed, meanwhile there, slowly inching towards, there we go, flag half track. The 251-17. Samex in the centre. Note, by the way, in World War I believe also World War II, the British would have a tactic with the Vickers where they'd actually fire them up into the air, sort of like artillery, and have the bullets rain down upon the enemy from above. After following up with the Caesar, getting a bit more aggressive that way against Finndeed and the Germans, was just trying to hold out for the Fallschirmjägers. Raid section, regular section, taking the full community, see it, quickly cutting them down. Then we got a Banhand Granada here as he tries to slow down Caesar's assault here, burning through those Tommies. It's not working out there. Flak half turn on the way. Kuwagner machine being hauled towards the car front here as Caesar hits where it hurts. Flak half track out there. The 251-17 would later be replaced by the Model D version of this, which went for a more smaller turret with a gun in, and which technically would also, I think, carry a small bit of crew then, might have done so. Sort of turning into a very early version of an infantry fighting vehicle. And later there'd also be the flak drilling, which mounted 3 15 or 20mm sort of large machine guns, also cannons to sort of used in aircraft to sort of shoot at infantry and other aircraft. So, fun fact there. Anyways, we got a big air supply operation for Caesar, opening up for anti-tank guns and a mortar. Another reason this command, of course, has a bit of popularity there. Can quickly get you some support weapons that way. Vickers are being pummeled by the flak half track, clearly not ready. And Finndeed can now go for the Fallschirmjäger squad here. Grab the southern point there. Still advancing up the east, going straight for the fuel point here. Caesar's definitely caught a bit out of position here by Finndeed's push. Flak half-track ready to blow up stuff. Then the south here, full attacked here by the raid section and the regular section. Caesar's having none of this German nonsense. Quick Molotov in the full grenadiers, burn them up and pushing them back. Further up north, those where fighting's intensifying here. Caesar's caught here by the northern Mill Road. Got the 6-pounder gun there firing at the flak half-track, but the Sturm Pioneer catching here. The 6-pounder gun could clear it out. And there you go, flak half-track joining in the front, full from the above. They caught here in the ditch. The stream out now there, flak half-track now hit. Almost got the Sturm Pioneer as well there. Flak half-track narrowly surviving. Southeast here, Caesar's also taking advantage of the collapse. Did a quick push, but at the same time there's all this happening, Finndeed struck at the car point. Some really wild action here in the early game between Finndeed and Caesar. A lot of retreats in the end there for Finndeed as his front lines end up too extended and are caught fairly unprepared. Of course, now with Fallschirmjägers inbound, Finndeed will likely try and turn the tide with some more aggressively equipped infantry. Fallschirmjägers here landing fairly close to base. He's also not going to go for a Crete drop. There you go, Fallschirmjäger ready. Go to the section here. Pushing straight here at the fuel point. Held up by the raid section and quickly dispatched here by a mix of Karnat, TK and Fallschirmjäger Gewehr 42 fire. A mine here from Finndeed as well. They should mean this fight on 40. Getting aggressive with those Fallschirmjäger. Sehr good. Definitely want to get aggressive with them. Fun fact, as the war went on, the German army, well, Hitler, I suppose, in a sense, would raise large Fallschirmjäger armies, but a lot of them were basically just Fallschirmjägers in name. A lot of Fallschirmjäger, basically Ersatz units. There were more had in common with the Volksgunners than actually had with Fallschirmjägers. Like, they had Fallschirmjäger uniforms, but in terms of quality, they were nowhere near Fallschirmjägers, but they were just Fallschirmjägers in name. A lot of them, for example, fought during Operation Market Garden. Fun fact. North here, raid section ring in there. Going up here by the western fuel point. Section the Kugelwagen. I mean, clearly these Fallschirmjägers are not those, but I mean, it is something worth pointing out there. Got the enemy fed was the 6-pounder gun here. Looking to quickly put an end to those gunners. East side, we've got the flak half-track, that's the Vickers. Quickly pushing that on the open. Raid section looking to exploit a gap here between Finndeed's western positions. Catch the machine in a bit of an odd spot, and there we go. Mortals good enough for Caesar. Giving a bit of artillery support here versus Finndeed and the Germans. And there you go. Raid section, hold by the flak half-track. Southeast, Caesar and the British Army continues to advance for the glory of King George. On the west side here, also running into a bit of issues. Kuban also looking to block things. A mortar added, 2 kills already. Don't we have our own mortars? Oh yes, but someone forgot them, so we have to borrow from the Americans. Oh. Who forgot them? I don't know, someone called Johnson. Biggest pushback, their sections, the Fallschirmjägers, Volksverteidigung as well here. Sturmpionier routed, almost wiped, and there goes Caesar here with a 10-11 minute mark Centaur. And Finndeed is certainly nowhere near close to the Schwerer punted quarters even, so Caesar here, of course, will certainly have some issues here with the Finndeed and his very aggressive tactics. In fact, he's called in a second Fallschirmjäger squad there. He's about to get hit by a Centaur. He does have a Panther strike here on the Sturmpionier. He does have the Kidnapper, so he's not going to be completely in trouble, but things are about to get tougher for Finndeed by a few notches. Back here, troop reinforcing healing. A lot of raid sections standing about there. Go. 2 Fallschirmjäger squads now ready here for Finndeed and the German army. Centaur almost done. Got the raid section, the section moving forward to see. In fact, that's all the raid sections. Fallschirmjägers falling a bit back here. Also, after a certain point, most Fallschirmjäger divisions were just basically elite infantry divisions. Typically with a few Stooks assigned to them. Don't know if they ever actually got any half-tracks to them as well, though, but don't think so. Center setting out here, though, for Caesar. But it was not uncommon for like Fallschirmjäger divisions to have some Stooks sort of organically as part of a division. Centaur turned to command vehicle, rolling ahead here, they were catching the Falconers. Fallschirmjäger was just sort of standing watching there, wishing, you know, they still had their Panther house. So there you go, raid section moving up here. The DG is waiting for the Centaur to pass. Don't worry, Otto. It can't see us if it don't move. Is it reaction movement? Well, yeah, kinda. English aren't very smart. Center there was the Falconers, plus backed up and entertained to wreck the cover. There you go, rushing in here. Big sprint, but right to MD-34. Center taking fire from the Kidnapper for Fallschirmjägers, still waiting for the right time to strike here. No take yet for Finndeed and the German army. So it could take up now. I suppose you could also just go for a third Fallschirmjäger squad, which would be the really, really bold move here. Up north, the Fallschirmjäger right here with the officer charging in with the Sten guns blazing. And a fun fact, actually, some Fallschirmjäger units would actually pick up a lot of Sten guns and use them instead of the rifles. Fun fact. Straight to mine here, though. Definitely bad news for Caesar. Great news for Finndeed there. I don't think he's quite got a shot at taking it out, but actually he might. That said, yeah, rushing in like that, it's definitely going to cost the Stumpers. There he does take out the Centaur. Great kill here for Finndeed. Massive blow to Caesar and the British Army. Definitely in the 7th Armored Division, the Desert Rats feeling a bit, well, deserted. Fallschirmjägers are still waiting about. They're waiting for orders, or perhaps they found something really interesting in those bushes. Look, someone dumped all of this rare French pornography in these bushes. Ooh. Vickers finding out the Falconers suppressing them. There we go, advancing on the fuel point. Enforcing healing. Officer caught out in the open here, bit of smoke called in there. Sharp move there by Caesar. I think it only buy him so much time here, trying to push the car point though. Caesar though is ready for that eventuality, and Finndeed's Fallschirmjäger are slowly pushed back. He's flooding a bit of resources that they're definitely going to take up soon. As for Caesar, I mean, he could go for another Centaur now, though of course timing-wise and everything else considered, he might be better off going for Cromwell first. Fallschirmjäger caught here by the raid section of the sappers, got a machine gun supporting them. And raid section of the suppressed can be easy targeted for the Fallschirmjägers with their FD-42s and Carnot TKs. North here, Fulton's catching the 6-pounder gun here, could wipe it, and that would be a big problem for Caesar. Since A, that means Finndeed now has mounted tank guns, but also he then has none. Great kill there for Finndeed. He could have called also salvage it, but yeah, he's never going to try and make off with it. Particularly since you know we're close to tanks, having more anti-tank guns would obviously serve Finndeed and Deutschland quite well. Getting a mine in the south. 2 Fallschirmjägers dead. That's a pretty good mine there for Caesar. Other squad that's achieved veterans we won for now. Truck on the way there for Finndeed. The Schwere Wehrmachtschlepper. They'll probably set for the Schwere Panzerhauptquartier. Biggest they're being hammered with the FT-42s, and a quick push back. Mortified joining in the front. Cromwell right around the corner here for Caesar. There you go. Cromwell Mark 4 cruiser tank. Sappers here was MG-34 on the south. Centre we got the Sturmpuni moving up. North we got the Volks ground the point. Clearing out the sandbags on the centre with a bit of Panzerschräg action. Up north, another push-up of Caesar, but we got Finndeed quickly moving in the flak half track to cover that. Of course, highlighting the power of the flak half track, just a very mobile, powerful defensive weapon. Can also, of course, be used offensively, but on the defense, you can just quickly move to like block up an infantry push quite well. South of the Cromwell strikes here, quickly line Caesar's infantry up to some of the southern points there. Indeed, they got the Schwere Panzer quarters going up. Can then authorize it. Of course, once it's up, he can also start upgrading his Fallschirmjägers with additional Fallschirmjäger-Gewehrs. Got them quickly routed here by the Cromwell tank. Very sensibly, Finndeed takes no chances against that. Mine's been considered here, but stopped. Cromwell there shoots and misses the Sturmpuni out in the open. Panzerschräg lands got his on them. Getting down to 2/3 of his health total. Definitely need to get that fixed up. We also got some weapon racks unlocked with Piats there for Caesar's men. Not a bad addition at all. We'll of course have to see what Caesar goes for next year versus Finndeed, though he may need another supply drop or every supply operation for another tank gun. Plus, I mean, another mortar, don't think a bad idea either here for Caesar. Not be a bad idea either. As for Finndeed, very close to a Panther 4 model J, and there we go. Both Fallschirmjäger squads are receiving additional FT-42s to further augment the firepower. North here follows with the raid section. And send packing. He's going to have like a fair amount of like infantry and crucially 2 of them very elite assault infantry over the FT-42s. Meanwhile, there are more sappers for Caesar to prepare his armour. North here, folks, a bit of trouble. Got the assault officer closing in of FT2. Their Sten guns absolutely ripping through those Germans. Section around here by the Schwere Panzer quarters. Probably not the Kubelwagen. North here, flak half track continue to be an excellent tool of destruction here for Caesar. I mean, Indeed, ripping through Caesar's men though. Fallschirmjägers now pushing up here as well. The FT-42 really is a big boon. We got Bren guns out here for Caesar's men. Certainly significantly augmenting their firepower too. Far south here, Cromwell racing through here. Finndeed's southern positions. 6-pounder gun here. Could be caught with the Cromwell and dispatched if he's not careful. Got more Piats out here for Caesar. Lots of them, in fact. And for those wondering what Piat stands for, it means Projector Infantry Anti-Tank. It's a bit of an awkward name. Cromwell's the Volks Grenadiers. Got the flak half tank out here for Finndeed. 8 kills, half 8 of actually 2. Quite a bit of manpower being floated there. Guessing Finndeed is planning to go straight hit for Panther versus Caesar. The Panzerkampfwagen 5. And can now go for it. There we go. Panther on the way there for Finndeed. In the south Caesar, the swiftly advances here. Fallschirmjägers here versus the sappers. So we've got the sections, raid sections, the Volksgrenadiers, Cromwell there being slowly pushed back here by the Kernef and the Volksgrenadier. Probably aren't helping either. Up north though, clearly here Caesar's got a big plan here. We got 2 raid sections led by the assault officer. Clearly something very British is being planned there. Alright chaps, we're going to move around the German flank and we're going to lodge a formal complaint with Mr. Hitler about this war. I think we're a bit past formal complaints, sir. Really? Yes. Oh, bother. Panther almost done there, Finndeed. Run hunt gun on the Vickers there. Filling all the points is there, and we got the Panther ready here for Finndeed. Panzerkampfwagen 5, Ausführung A, adding the pin-mounted Maschinengewehr there. Looks about to get wiped out. He been outside there with Finndeed. He is, though, calling in a third Fallschirmjäger squad. That's a pretty good timing, I suppose. It does mean he's got even more assault infantry. I'd also like to note just 3 Fallschirmjäger squads is pretty rare. Like, most players nowadays don't bother with them, because compared to Orbital Darden, they do require, like, Panther is a bit more effort and involvement, and so people just tend to, like, sleep on them, but they are quite good if you, like, know how to use them. They are quite potent. Can really give your opponent an absolute headache. We'll have to see what Caesar goes for next, though. Would not be surprised to maybe see some Fireflies here to help deal with the Panther, or he could be planning a Comet, for all we know. West side here, the counterattack by Fallschirmjägers and Sturmpioniere. In the south here, raid sections spotted by the Panther and some Fullsgrenadiers, and Caesar very quickly orders them back before they get turned into German target practice. And expected the Sherman Firefly here for Caesar, which actually had its equivalent on the Cromwell tank, which was known as the Challenger tank. Well, technically, it was a bit of a long Cromwell with a bit longer chassis and a very large turret, but, you know, sort of roughly same idea. It was apparently actually more popular than the Firefly with British crews, too. Apparently just not as iconic. Anyways, Panther going for the Cromwell. Good shot there. Fallschirmjägers here is the raid section in the centre. Officer backing him up here. But the flak half tack is a big issue. Could try calling smoke maybe, but I guess it might be too late for that now. More to their continuing rain down death from above. Up north here, steady push here by Caesar. Another massed infantry assault, this time with support from the Cromwell. Even as the centre south is sort of looking a bit weaker here. Firefly out. Immediately upgrading with both tulip rockets and the commander. Big push up north, flak after that, though quickly locking down their Caesar's push there. Fallschirmjägers running about here, 7 kills, veterans here too. Going here for the Vickers machine gun before retreating. Blowing apart all the nice upholstery in there. Firefly then landing a pretty solid shot there on the flak half tack with the 17-pounder gun. Good shot on the Panther. Close with the Vickers, after charging in as well. Closing the Fullsgrenadiers. Firefly the knocked out. Great kill here for Finndeed. Definitely a blow there to Caesar. Like, he just gotten it, and he just, like, got all the upgrades up, so he just adds a lot of resources straight down the toilet here. Really good kill there for Finndeed. Removes a potential big threat to his Panther for sure. Around the centre victory point. Still, it's not all bad here for Caesar. He does have a more small victory point to Finndeed. He's got a good chunk of the map, but still, losing the Firefly like that does provide a bit of a problem for him. 6-pounder gun on the way now. Panther blasting way about to get engaged with the Cromwell. Good shot there through the Panther's frontal armour. Pierre wielding sappers joining in. Fallschirmjägers, though, leading a significant counterattack here. It's definitely bad news for Caesar's troops. Second, Veteran 2 Fallschirmjäger squad there for Finndeed now. And the 21st Panzer is shown supported by the 3rd Fallschirmjäger Regiment. Fallschirmjägers around it. Parkman flying around the Vickers machine gun here, and there you go, sending it packing. Could get a wipe back, so that'd be quite painful for Caesar. Quite painful, but fortune does seem to be smiling here at Caesar, at least somewhat there, and his machine crew avoids falling into the hands of the German Reich. Quick advance in the centre up north here. The more raw Fallschirmjägers will encounter the raid section, heavy cover. Not ending too well here for these Fallschirmjägers. They're taking rather substantial amounts of damage and are quick to being, well, snuffed out. Panther there, close to veterans you won. What will Caesar go for next besides, I guess, another anti-tank, and here to meet with the Panther. Mortifying the Fallschirmjägers by the eastern field point. Machine gun versus the Bren-wielding raid section here. Not working out well for the machine gun team either. Quite the opposite. Oh, it doesn't really help. It's for some reason got this... Like, it's literally not shooting. I just sat about there for like... these 10 seconds thing, sod all, before finding to retreat there. That's got to be a bit frustrating there for Finndeed. So we got the Panther versus the 6-pounder gun here. Falchion was routed. Light gun bomb they unleashed upon them. Cromwell there could of course do with some repairs. Up here trip reinforcing, and we got a Panther 4 Moliere there for Finndeed. The Panzerkampfwagen 4 aus von J. Guess he's had enough Panthers for now. Just also not partly just figuring out that like Caesar has a lot of infantry, in which case a Panther 4 is probably just going to be a better investment in the Panther here. Grabbing the southern points, flak half tightening up here, half activating 3 on that one. Ripping through the raid section to cover there, leave them exposed out in the open here. 186 versus 218. And the officers want more sent packing, encountering the Panther in the center. The commander is, or the officer is, hopelessly outgunned and outclassed. Falchion is heading northwards. In the south here, Caesar's got a bit more broad swinging, but it's running right into Finndeed here in the south. The Falchion, the machine gun there, and that could quickly put an abrupt end to Caesar's southern advance. And the center, though, he's building up a fresh push as well here. He's also letting up a second line of defense here behind the center victory point there. An interesting move there by Caesar. And far up north, they're Cromwell roaming here against the Falchion. Quickly send them packing here. Quick shot goes over the heads. Panther 4 Moliere almost done for Finndeed and the German army, but he's got actually too many units. He's in fact suffering from success. So now the Panther Force just sort of kind of stuck outside. Sorry, you can't come in. Why? We have too many units. Too many units. What does that mean? We don't know. We just don't know, but apparently you can't come in until we do some more guys. That's stupid. Anyways, Panther 4 on the way there for Finndeed. Up north, the raid section moving in. Far south here, we got the Falchion. The Falchion is flying up here, but there you go. Caught by the... Oh, actually got part of the Vickers in the trench here. Nice use of valiant assault by here by Finndeed. 2 thumbs up. Good, but I think fairly overlooked ability there in the Orbol Commander's arsenal. Rushing into the trench here, hiding from the Cromwell somewhat. Other Falchion squad nearby on the west side here. Push there, held back. Surprisingly, we didn't see the Panther to support the Falchion push here. I think that'd been a pretty good combo there for Finndeed. Falchion backed up by a Panther. In fact, he will probably retreat the Falchion from the trench soon before they get annihilated. Oof, might be too late now, actually. Yep. That's a good kill there for Caesar. Removes an otherwise very thorny infantry squad there from his list of problems to deal with. Prominent at least inside, another Firefly here for Caesar. Another Falchion squad for Finndeed. He's clearly committed to the whole 3 Falchion squad element. Thumbs up to that. You gotta respect that. Certainly expensive, but again, if you can manage it, it can also be quite powerful, I think. Big infantry push here by Caesar. Falchion being pushed back here. Kenmove doing what he can. Panther rushing east was there. 1 kill, veteran to 1. Straight into the British forces, and the Firefly number 2 is ready here for Caesar. We got 104 versus 217 Finndeed. Definitely to fight a bit more enthusiastically for the victory points here. Panther diving after the Cromwell. We got the Firefly ready with its 17-pounder gun, which is a tank bar. They pretty much just fitted like everything they could. Similar to what the Surge did with the 85mm gun when they got that one going. Concussive grenade in the officer there. 100 points left for Finndeed versus the 213 here of Caesar. Firefly there with the tube rockets. Good shot on the Panther. Held his discipline there and didn't just go for the tube rockets as well. They're probably figuring it could, at range, easily dodge the tube rockets. Which will obviously just be a waste of munitions here for Caesar. Mortar there with 14 kills. I mean, it's been a pretty good investment here for Caesar for sure. Even if it probably wasn't like the primary reason he went for that one, it's still pretty good. Like, mortars just tend to be very solid, I think. Fallschirmjägers of Firefly sitting out there. Initially, by the way, they'd be organised like in platoons, like 3 Shermans, 1 Firefly, because they didn't have enough of them. But later on, once they got enough Fireflies, they'd organise full-up Firefly platoons. Fun fact.
Enemy threatening a capture point.
North here, got the officer and the second charge of the 6-pounder gun here. Flak half-track holding up there, bet you too close to vetting fleet. We got 75 as 13. Caesar's close to almost having here Finndeed out of the game. At the same time, one good push from Finndeed could also leave Caesar crippled then. It's going to be a close one here, I think. Going to be a close one. Kimberlane good hit the Cromwell. Second good hit there. 75 versus 213. I mean, I could just apply some smoke around here and up in the north and make a push for that, I think. Cromwell causing neat repairs. Firefly there falling a bit back. Interestingly enough, perhaps he's concerned, or perhaps there's some other thing going on here we're not aware of. Could be very possible here. There you go, Sherman Firefly setting out again. Yeah, the Brits would mount the 17-pounder gun on a lot of things. You had the M10 version, the Achilles there with the 17-pounder gun. You got like their own Archer tank destroyer with it. You had the Challenger tank as well, besides the Firefly. And of course they'd mount a shortened 17-pounder gun on the Comet. Flak half-track knocked out there. Good kill here for Caesar. That's a big problem for Finndeed. That makes a northern defense much more difficult. Now I can't easily suppress something out there. And this, of course, means Caesar could not possibly get a triple cap here in Finndeed, which could become very dangerous here for Caesar. Finndeed, I mean, very dangerous. Concussive grenade hook, very nice throw there, stuns the entire unit. He still has to fall back. He's got 3 units to defend the south side there. What will Caesar do? He's going to go for it here, but there he goes, straight into the Kedneffer here. Not the greatest push. Firefly nearby, troops advancing up and up. Ooh, moved too far there. Lucky there for Finndeed, buys him a bit more time there at least. Panther counter-attacking here. May want to get the Panther into support as well here. He's going to charge in. Of course, this sappers with P8 definitely makes a push there from Finndeed very difficult. Machine holding up at the center here. Is that a... Yeah, that's a Fallschirmjäger machine gun. That's expensive. Looks cool. Got the Panther rushing from Northern Point. Looks like an entire section there got wiped out. As in fact his only regular infantry section there that got annihilated by the Panther 4. Pretty good kill there for Finndeed.
Damned enemies trying to take a point from us.
Mines down there. Got the Firefly there. But the Panther and the Panther 4. Good shot there. Ooh, did go for the chill rocket in this case. Fell too late though. But there you go. P8s, anti-tank grenades there. Panther down to half health. Crom rushing in the 6-pounder gun being spotted as well here. Shot bounces off the Panther's armor. 6-pounder gun under Finndeed's control here. Knocks out Caesar's Cromwell as well. That's both tanks down here for Caesar. We got 64% on 97 here. Fallschirmjägers routing here. Caesar's infantry, they are being slaughtered here. As Finndeed and the 3rd Reich gets to it in the south here. Troops pushing forward as well here. The entire side of the front line of Caesar is also now shrinking in there. Firefly on the way there for Caesar. Fallschirmjägers getting wiped out here. Mortar there, still at 14 kills. Sturm Pioneer creeping up in the south here. The Fallschirmjägers keep up the advance. There go Brandhandgranate. Vickers forced to vacate the premises and turn to deal with the advancing Fallschirmjäger from the south from an angle they also can't defend from. Panther right in the center. Looks like a complete collapse here though for Caesar at this point.
Our capture point. They're trying to take it.
But he's close to complete collapse. He's got another Firefly on the way. This Fallschirmjäger's been kind of murdered in the trench here, but the Panther 4 there arrives. And there you go. That means Caesar's machine gun crew is now dead. Deceased. It has passed on. Is no more. Panther there being held back for repairs. Do have the Schutzen added to it. And salvaging the Vickers. Trot on the weather for Finndeed, that'll be the mechanized regiment. Could be for repair pioneers. Could be he's also playing the King Tiger, but that said he's more or less at full pop cap. So, yeah. Anyways, third Firefly here for Caesar. Who's about to get murdered out by all the sections. And the nasty stuff here. Down to one man. Got the Firefly rolling ahead here. South got the Ken holding up here. Pushing southwards. Shoots that up north. We got the opposite heading for Northern Point. We got a lot of Bren guns lying about there, by the way. And no one's picked them up. Good lord, what are these primitive weapons lying about? They damn Germans. Those are guns, sir. Oh. Well, let's just pretend I didn't say that. Going for the centre victory point, the northern front to the British hands. We got 64 on the 31 here. Caesar still giving out though here for the Commonwealth, for the British Empire. Graham Southern Point with 2 fights to make a squad here. We got 14 kills there. Mortified there, raining down on Finndeed's southern positions. Another centre here for Caesar. Panther being fixed up. Mechanized regiment headquarters ready, adding the repair pioneers. And that's a pretty good upgrade to have, honestly. Again, it's just very handy for repairing your stuff. Panther's almost fixed up as well here for Finndeed. Got the officers now equipped with both Bren guns there, certainly increasing their firepower significantly. Panther sitting out there. There we go. Officer routed. Firefly sitting out again. There you go. Centaur ready here for Caesar. 61 was on 18. Getting a bit closer. Smoke being deployed. They're very nice. Panther, of course, trying to get a few shots in there to murder the machine gun there. Falsing a machine gun there, by the way. Being pushed towards center to block it. Firefly nearby. Not entirely sure for Caesar actually the best choice to rush the centre. If he's trying to like head into the south or set northern point, but I'll wait. In the south, they've been caught, but the Falcon is routed. Nice little ambush there by Finndeed. Mortified there up north. We got the Centaur ready for Caesar. 61 versus 101. 98 versus 61.
Enemy causing trouble, trying to take one of our points.
Looks like Caesar's lining up set for northern push now here versus Finndeed. Centre of the Cat and the Flood Committee is there. Good mortified as well. Got the Falcon Flinger on the east side there.
We're losing a capture point.
Firefly lane good. Oh, that bounced. That's some real rubbish luck there for Caesar. Really rubbish luck. Firefly shoots, misses this time around. Caesar's not having a lot of luck with this Firefly, is he? Panther moving up. There's 6 Pentagon nearby as well here. That Firefly could be in trouble here. Or it might be relatively safe. Up north, your fights makers, they're launching an ambush here, completely blindsiding Caesar there. Raid section almost wiped out. There we go. Down they go. Firefly's about to get knocked out there. 61 versus 54. Centaur rushing straight at the Falcon makers here. Panther, I think, could have pursued here, decides not to. 50 points left here. The situation for Caesar is now looking rather bad. Things are really falling apart for him now. He's got increasingly little infantry left. His armor's not looking great either, and Finndeed just looks very unassailable at this point. He's just got a lot of infantry, good amount of armor, good amount of support weapons, and a Kubelwagen. Panther holding any minute 2 here, and with that, Caesar throws in the towel. GG, game over. A loss here for the British Empire. A victory for Deutschland. A fierce back and forth fight here. Some really close moments here. And I think Caesar in many cases was close, but I think he lacked something extra there. I think tactically, maybe another mortar as well there to really, I think, overcome Finndeed. Finndeed, I think, leveraged his fighting makers quite well, then set up some good ambushes and some good pushes. So, there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. You'll learn something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it. Consider, Support the Propagandacast by donating via PayPal or pledge on Patreon. This is Imperial LinkedIn. Cheers, and see you all tomorrow for another episode. Bye.